Frank, any updates on Fury Joshua?
Do you know what? Every day, it's like saying the cheque's in the post. Every day, the contract's in the post. Yeah, it's not here yet, is it? And I don't want to start saying how I feel about it. Let's see what happens in the next day or so, whether something does come through. As we're being promised continuously, it will come through.
When I spoke to you at the office after our last interview, you seemed in a good place about that, very confident. Has that changed, Frank?
Well, I was confident because I was told categorically it was going to be there. You know, the contract that we was looking for was going to be there the following day, and it hasn't arrived.
Okay, Frank.
If I doom and gloom it, everybody says that I don't want the fight to happen. I think we went through all this in the week. You know what Tyson wants it. I know that AJ wants it.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Frank Fish Eyes Warren. Oh man, you dons out there who told the YB I need to apologise. You feeling sick right now. Fish Eyes got you sick. And listen, I want the fight to happen. I'm a boxing fan. That said, I go based on information. I told you, man. When there's good information, the fight's looking more likely to happen, I'll tell you it. I've got no problem. I told you before as well. If I'm wrong, if the fight happens, I'll put my hands in the air. I'm only ever going based on information. And I can't lie to you, man. The information over the last 2 weeks has been more positive than not. Bearing in mind we've heard, the offers are in and whatnot. I told you, man, that. Yeah, when Fury was doing that countdown rubbish, that's information. That made me negative towards it. That said, the 28-day period's expired, and Fury and whatnot and his team haven't categorically shut it down. But I told you, man, it's not over until the big bubbly lady sings, and she ain't sung nothing yet. And every day it ticks by, it gets more, it's just a bit goofy if you ask me. It's like, what is this? What is this kind of business? Eddie Hearn is known to be. He don't mess about. Takes him 2 weeks to get things wrapped up. AJ himself even said, listen, Eddie, I want this wrapped up by December. And it's not... Eddie Hearn wrapping something up in 2 weeks isn't something unheard of. Most AJ fights are wrapped up within 4 weeks at the most. We had the Ruiz thing wrapped up and court cases done within 8 weeks. This is 20 weeks now, and still none the closer, it sounds like. And actually, I made a video the other day putting a theory out there, because what do we know? AJ and Eddie Hearn have now mugged Sky off. So I'm questioning, why is it taking so long? Is it possible Eddie Hearn is trying to drag this out so he is able to give the rights to DAZN? Because currently Eddie Hearn's still binded with Sky. So, but if he carries on delaying, which by the way, it's already been 4.5 months now. Don't forget that. AJ's fight was on the 10th or 12th of December. We're now end of April. That's 4.5 months. 4.5 months since AJ last fought. And we're still, Fish Eyes to this day, saying, well, Eddie Hearn been promising, ain't nothing come through. I think seriously now, there's a possibility Eddie Hearn is going to drag this out until, some date which invalidates Sky's claim. Because currently, Eddie Hearn, until July 1st, Eddie Hearn is legally and whatever else obligated to benefit Sky. He can't go and give the fight to, or he can't go and bias himself towards DAZN at this point. That said, come July 1st or whatever period, I'm not sure exactly when, but he thinks Eddie Hearn's contracted until July 1st. He's got 2 more shows with Sky specifically. So I'm just not sure how this legal business works. Will it be June 1st or will it be July 1st? I'm not sure. Now, having said that, is it likely Eddie Hearn's going to drag this on another 2 months until July 1st? Not really, because if they're talking about doing it on July 24th, there's no way Eddie Hearn going to be able to wait till July 1st. All I'm saying is, it does seem a little fishy to me. Is it a coincidence Eddie Hearn's contract's come up, or is due to end soon, and this fight's dragging on like an MFer? Because, guess what? AJ and Pulev didn't take this long. And yes, this fight's bigger, but the point is, a fight's a fight, more or less. AJ versus Ruiz didn't take this long. And yes, we've got C19, but again, like I said, everyone else putting fights on. Not a big deal. Not a biggie at all. Not a biggie at all. So I do think there's a possibility here that Eddie Hearn's trying to do some skullduggery underground. And obviously, Eddie Hearn can't blatantly come out and say, well, I'm going to wait, and me and AJ and Team AJ or whoever else, we're just going to wait until this Sky contract times out, and then we're going to give it to the Zone. He can't do that. Legally, Sky can sue and say, listen, you haven't been putting our best interest at heart, or you haven't been, you know what I'm saying? You haven't been obliging your contract. But if Eddie Hearn says, or plays it out, negotiations and C19 and back and forth, I'm doing my best, and then it doesn't happen, Sky ain't got no claim, have they? And at the moment, I'm just going based on the evidence, it's feeling like there's something artificially not right about this. I.e., it feels to me as if, and not only feels, listen to what other people are saying. Fish Eyes here, a perfect example. Fish Eyes is saying, Eddie Hearn's promised a contract for the last 2 weeks and nothing's come through. I know Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, he's the numbers man. Yeah? If he tells you the contract going to be there tomorrow, it'll be there tomorrow. So if that's not happening, I don't believe it's Eddie suddenly becoming bad at business. I believe he's just trying to drag it out, if that makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Eddie Hearn isn't known as someone who's sloppy with business, who's going to promise you a contract and then 3 weeks later you ain't got nothing. I believe he's doing that to slow things up. And that's what the evidence is implying right now. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have sent it? You have to believe Eddie Hearn's incompetent. You have to believe that he's promising things he hasn't got. I just don't... That for me would be news. I'm sure the LDBC goofs think it's about right, but I don't. This is the first time I've heard Eddie being so grossly out of place or out of dates or out of sync with things. If Eddie Hearn says you're going to get a contract, you get a contract. If he's saying that and then not giving you it, I think he's sitting on his hands. I really do. Because, what is it? It's 4.5 months already, another 2? Who cares? That said, argument against my theory would be the fact that if they're going to do it on July 24th, there's no way they're only going to allow 4 weeks for the fight. Although, who knows? It could be a possibility. We know Tyson Fury's training. We know AJ's training. Is it possible? Eddie Hearn sat down behind closed doors and told people, listen, I'm in this problem with Sky. You man get training. We're going to announce the fight on July 1st. And we're going to do the fight on July 29th. 4 weeks of build-up. And I'm going to give you man an extra couple mil. Because listen, Eddie Hearn's we're talking about $400 million deal here. So it's nothing for Eddie to tell people, yo, AJ Fury, keep your mouth shut, get to work, and I'll give you man some extras off the back end. Now, obviously, I've gone deep. Maybe it's some big cabal thing. Who knows? Could be some big conspiratorial thing. I'm just putting my theory out there. Obviously, if this fight gets signed and Sky get it in the UK, fair play. I was wrong, but I just think, not things. The minute I heard Frank say that, Eddie Hearn promised a contract and it's not come through. Frank's seeing that as, I don't think the fight's going to happen, which equally it could be. That could be the case, and that's why I'm doing this video. There's a few possibilities here. Number one, Eddie Hearn's delaying, like Frank's implying. Eddie Hearn's delaying because he don't really want the fight, or there's something going on and he can't get it done and he can't get the contract to Frank. Frank's basically saying, Eddie Hearn promised me a contract, hasn't delivered it because there's things in the background going on, and this fight can't be done. This fight cannot be done at this point in time for the money we want or for the conditions we want. That's what Frank's saying. Eddie Hearn has not delivered me a contract because other things are going on and it's too difficult to do at this time. That's a possibility. Number two is what I'm saying. Eddie Hearn hasn't got no problems getting the actual contract done. Really, he's trying to drag this out. Then again, can he really drag this out for 8 weeks? I don't know. It would need AJ and Fury to be on the side, which they may be, because after all, they're training. Yeah, Fury's training. And I believe, if it is a conspiracy, I don't believe Frank's involved, which you wouldn't want to put Frank in there. In fact, think about it logically. You couldn't include Frank, could you? Because Frank would just expose it all. Or he'd certainly put a whisper in to someone and say, listen, Eddie's doing this, and get him. You know what I mean? Frank would love nothing more than Eddie to get in trouble. So you can't tell Frank. And if anything, in terms of making it look legit, like Eddie's legitimately having bad problems, Frank's playing the perfect part, innit? If I was going to do this conspiracy thing, I'd want Frank out there saying, yeah, Eddie's taking ages, and making it look legitimate, like Eddie's legitimately having problems. But what we do know is Fury training, AJ training, Fury training properly as well, in Las Vegas kind of thing. Not one of these gym things where he's in some Birmingham gym and there's a whole bag of random man there. No, he's properly in camp. So what's my argument is, or more evidence supporting this conspiracy thing is that why suddenly did Fury start committing to training when, from other people's point of view, Frank's included, Frank is part of Fury's team. Frank's saying it ain't happening, so why all of a sudden did Fury get up and run into training? I believe Eddie's told Fury. Remember they met? Don't forget that. I believe Eddie told Fury, this fight's going to happen 100%. We've got it all locked in, but I'm going to give you man some extra money. I need this DAZN thing to work out. We need to mug Sky off. That's what I think's happened. And then whatever else. Fish Eyes ain't in the loop. Fish Eyes is not in the loop. Not even a bit in the loop. Could be wrong though. If it gets signed and it goes straight to Sky, fair play. Fish Eyes is saying, yeah, well, we're going to see how it plays out in the next few days, which, again, that implies that I'm wrong. That implies that this is going to get done now and go to Sky. I'll believe it when I see it, though, like I told you, man. And putting all my theories to the side, Fish Eyes here, he just doesn't sound great. He doesn't sound great at all. Seems like he knows something we don't. Because, never mind Eddie Hearn, because in my mind, Eddie Hearn being a few days late sending the contract or whatnot is out of character, which is a warning sign. Either way you look at it. Eddie Hearn not sending a contract when he's supposed to, obviously assuming Frank's not lying, that's a red flag, whatever camp you're in. That's not good for the fight at any level, and it's also, it's problematic. I've never heard of Eddie Hearn having these problems before, for example. That said, you can argue, well, Eddie Hearn's never put on a fight this size. I don't know, they're all the same. Yeah, they're like minges. Making a fight is like a minge. They're all more or less the same. Yeah, you might have some beef curtains, some not beef curtains, but you know what I'm saying? They're all more or less the same. But Fish Eyes questioning, the way he's questioning it, it's almost like he's expecting this to fall through. Do you understand? Because from his point of view, regardless of, like, if you think this fight's going to happen, if you're an insider and you think this fight's going to happen, you don't care if it's a few days late. You say, well, yeah, it's locked in. A few days late is a few days late. It's almost like Frank knows something else. Some specifics. Why it's taking so long. You understand? Because in itself, if everything's locked in and Frank knows it and Frank knows all the specifics are fine, you wouldn't care, would it? It wouldn't be paramount. It wouldn't be pivotal whether it's 3 days late or not, would it? Alright, yeah, we've got everything locked in. I know everything's kosher and done. But Eddie's a week late sending the contract. Who cares? No one would care about that. But the fact Frank's making a big deal out of it could just be to pie Eddie Hearn, which is a fair point given how much they've gone back and forth over the years. Or it could be the fact that behind the closed doors, Frank knows, or Frank's hearing, that things are so bad and Eddie Hearn's actually literally struggling to get this done, to get it in the contract. That's what I get from Frank. Frank's basically saying Eddie isn't just being slow or whatever. Eddie literally can't deliver what he's promised. Which is a bad look if Frank's being truthful. Again, no, I said this days ago. In fact, I said it about 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago, the 28-day thing expired. And I said to you, man, at the point, I'm sick of this if, buts and whatnots. Now, we're 2 weeks in, and still Fish Eyes is now telling us, oh, Eddie Hearn said another week. Wow, it's unbelievable. And that's why I'm giving you, man, the conspiracy thing. Because it just seems, I literally told you, man, this is unbelievable. I remember 2 weeks ago, yeah, when the 28 days expired, I said to you, listen, the good news is, no matter what, we're going to find out one way or another. Within a week from now, we're going to know one way or another, 100%. It's now 2 weeks. It's a week after that week. And we're still, oh, Eddie Hearn said they're going to get here another few days, another week. What the? And that's why, when things are too unbelievable, yeah, and things don't add up, especially when people are acting out of character, Eddie Hearn, being late, delivering contracts, what? Don't make no sense. That tells me that there's something else going on, potentially, i.e. Eddie Hearn playing some game here, Eddie Hearn dropping game on Sky. Let me know your thoughts anyway, and your boy will be back.